The Tolkien Road, Episode 88, The Lord of the Rings, The White Rider, Part 2. Alright, go ahead. The Tolkien Road, 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 the Tolkien Road of Tolkien, the 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 Road of Tolkien The Tolkien Road.
The Tolkien Road.
The Tolkien Road. Hey there, fellow travelers. Welcome to the Tolkien Road, a long walk through Middle-earth. On this episode, we continue our journey through The Lord of the Rings with the second part of Book 3, Chapter 5, The White Rider. Before we get started, why not hop on over to iTunes and leave the Tolkien Road a rating and feedback? It's a great way to show your support for the show and takes less than a minute. Thanks for listening and enjoy. Hello everyone, welcome to the Tolkien Road, episode 88. John here, and as always, Greta,
Hey,
you're joining me.
Yes, I am.
What's up?
Not much.
Good.
What's up with you?
Not much. Not
Good.
much.
Now we got that out of the way.
Yeah. There's always, not much is what's always up. But really, there's stuff, if we were being honest, there actually is
There's stuff up.
going on.
Yeah, definitely. But we're trying really hard to limit the number of rabbit trails we find ourselves hopping down.
True. I like cough drops.
Yeah.
I just had a cough.
Yes.
I still have this nasty cough going on.
Sorry, listeners.
Don't know
I
what
know it's
it
kind
is.
of grating your eardrums.
Like emphysema or something.
I hope not emphysema.
Yeah.
I remember learning about in nursing school. It's not pleasant.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's most likely really not emphysema.
No, it's not emphysema. You're not old enough.
I'm coughing
for
so much, it feels
emphysema.
like that for some reason. I think I just have some kind of, throat nerve that's
irritated
or something.
and mad at you.
It's just really TO'd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's starting to kind of TO me too.
All right. So before we jump in, a few announcements. Correspondence we got to deal with.
Woo!
People always talking to us. We got to deal with it.
I love it.
All right.
I love it.
Before we get to the people corresponding, new post on True Myths that I just posted today, truemyths.org. It's 5 reasons Tolkien is my co-pilot. 5 reasons Tolkien is my co-pilot.
5 reasons Tolkien
Yeah,
is
did you ever see that bumper sticker when you were a kid?
Jesus is my co-pilot?
It was usually like God is my co-pilot, I think.
Oh, God is my co-pilot.
Maybe it was Jesus is my co-pilot too. You would see that one.
Yeah.
So no offense to God or Jesus doing that, but
Tolkien is your co-pilot.
like co-pilot is like, he's your
goose, man.
He's your goose, right? He's kind of like,
Yeah.
he's kind of just, he's hanging out like next to you. I mean, God is like, God's everything. So I always felt it was kind of weird saying like God is my co-pilot.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say, like, shouldn't God be the pilot?
God is
not the co-pilot.
Well, God's like your destination and your beginning and like the
right.
plane
That's
and
why I
everything
think
else,
it's Jesus.
But
Jesus should be the pilot, not the co-pilot, because the pilot pilots the plane.
Jesus is God too.
Yep.
This isn't a theology podcast. I wasn't trying to go there. I was just saying,
Okay.
go read my post, 5 reasons Tolkien is my co-pilot.
I think it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm totally going to read it.
You better
Actually,
read
I'm
it.
going to go read it right now. I
No.
will see you later.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I know you all want to go away, run away, and read it right now. And you can at home. You can do that if you want.
But make sure you come back.
Or just do it while you're listening to the episode because there's
No,
a lot
don't
of...
do that, because then you'll miss something.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. We do a lot of rambling on, a lot of rabbit trails. And,
I guess that's probably true. Never mind. You won't miss anything. Go read. Have us on in the
I didn't
background.
say that. Why do you have to be going to extremes and everything?
Well, because you're going to extremes.
Okay.
I'm trying to take you one further.
Go read my post. 5 reasons Tolkien is my
Talking to me?
co-pilot. No, not... Well, yes, but not right now.
Oh. Okay.
You can't hit pause on this episode and go do it.
True.
The readers are counting on you to do your thing.
My thing.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Next thing. So I've had a Facebook page for like my Tolkien stuff for a while, but I just renamed it facebook.com/Tolkien Road, and it has a nice cheesy picture of the two of us on it. Like looking all like, like nice and friendly and everything.
Sure.
Which is
You call nice and friendly cheesy?
Well, it's just kind of, it looks very like, join John and Greta as they host the Tolkien Road.
You know, and it's like, it just feels very kind of like, you know, I don't know, just...
Generic?
Like, it just... Anyway, it's a placeholder for now. It's a nice picture, don't get me wrong. It's like a nice picture to go, like, on our wall in our home. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. It's a little more formal than what you're going for.
Yeah. It looks a little bit like, come listen to us and we'll tell you about our life lessons. You know? It's like, experts on life, John and Greta Carswell. It was like, it just felt kind of cheesy to me to put it up there. But lots of people liked it. They thought it was a nice picture. So that was, you know, that was nice to see.
That is nice. Yeah. But you're telling people it's not going to hang around. Is that what you're saying? That's not going to be the final...
Yeah, well, we'll probably update it a lot, you know. Heck, maybe we'll even take a picture during this, while we're recording this episode.
You always say that.
Well, let's just take one right now. Let's take one right now. Here we go.
You always pick the worst moments for me.
We're not gonna care what this picture looks like. We're just gonna take a picture. Come on. They've seen the nice picture. I mean, you look great in that other picture. So they know what you look like when, you know, you try hard. So here we go.
Okay.
This is completely spontaneous.
All right. Are you going to count to 3?
Jeez. That's kind of 3/4. All right, there you go. That one's going up there. Hope you're happy with it.
Hey, I look better than you do.
I don't know if we can say that. There we go. It makes us backward. That's what drives me crazy about the photo thing on here. Is it like reverses us?
It like totally flips it.
All right.
Should we do one more?
Would it make you feel better?
Yeah.
It's still going to be backwards.
That's fine. Let's just do one more. We'll pick our favorite between the two. Because this is fun. I'm sure our readers are really enjoying this.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh!
You have blurry face.
I do have blurry face.
You got to stay on 3, and then you have to stay where you are.
But it counted really fast that time. I wasn't ready.
One more time.
Okay.
There we go.
No, not that one. I look like I have like an eye patch over my eye.
Let's just go with this one.
Yeah, go with that one. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Right on. Onward. Okay.
Onward and homeward.
So, Facebook.com/the Tolkien Road. I post all my stuff about Tolkien there. You can go like it, do whatever people do with Facebook. And comment, all that kind of stuff. In fact, it's, you know, if you want to, it's a great place to leave your comments or your haikus or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Because you do check it and you don't lose stuff.
Well.
On some Facebook.
Yeah, at some point I'm going to figure out how I consolidate all of the different channels through which haiku come in, because, you know, that's a lot of the prep work for these episodes, making sure I don't forget anybody.
I know.
You know?
I know.
I have kind of a little system down now, but, you know, I'm still afraid every time that I'm going to forget somebody.
Yeah.
I always feel really bad when that happens. The last little announcement to make is Tolkien's Requiem, my book concerning Beren and Luthien. So it now has its own like standalone webpage you can go to, and just tolkiensrequiem.com.
Wow.
So you can go there. You can see a nice, really cheesy picture of me, like author picture, you know.
Awesome.
Like being like super smart guy, John Carswell.
You're doing the Uncle Rico pose?
Yeah.
That's gonna be real nice.
And it is real nice.
It is real nice. We like real nice pictures.
And there's like, you know, links to buy the book and stuff like that.
Awesome.
So.
All right.
Yeah. Get yours while you can.
Yeah.
Because they're running out. I mean, when they run out,
they're gone. That's
they're
it.
They're going to print more.
Oh.
But yeah,
that was anticlimactic. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. All right. Yeah, you know what Mr. T says about that?
Something about fools?
I pity the fool that don't read Tolkien's Requiem. That's what he says.
And
he also says, I pity the fool that don't comment about the Tolkien's Requiem on iTunes. And I pity the fool who don't read 5 Reasons Tolkien is my co-pilot. Mm-hmm. And I pity the fool who doesn't like Tolkien Road on Facebook. So he's got some strong opinions.
And y'all don't be the fool that Mr. T pities. Nobody wants to be that fool.
And since you mentioned Mr. T, Greta, we spoke about Mr. T last time. We had kind of a conversation about Mr. T. You were probably wondering why we're talking about Mr. T all of a sudden.
Yeah. Is this a lead into something?
Yeah. So last episode we talked about Mr. T. He came up, and then Rob, the man, the myth, the legend, Fangman, as I'm kind of deciding we're going to call him.
Okay.
Rob, the man, the myth, the legend, Fangman, sent us a. He said, "I just listened to your last episode, and the Mr. T talk made me think of this Key and Peele sketch." And so we're always up for
we love Key and Peele,
sketches.
but wait, is this is
I previewed it. It's appropriate
for our podcast? Okay.
For our younger listeners, and we're gonna have a nationwide commercial for it beforehand too.
We're not gonna be able to skip it.
So go buy some nationwide insurance first.
Yeah. She has a very pretty voice.
She does. She seems very proud of her nationwide song.
All right, here we go. Here's the good stuff.
Some awesome music.
Man,
It's a
this
pretty
makes
cool
me want
thing
to
to
get
do.
up and dance.
So hold on.
Nobody likes you, you girl. Well, you're
Hold on. We have to say. Obviously, you can't see this, so you should go watch it if you think this is funny. It's only like 3 minutes long, and like the video really goes well with it. So you're listening to part of it. I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
different color than me, and that's bad.
Oh, yeah? Well, you dress like a... Now, hold on a second.
It's Mr. T.
Whoa! Mr. T! Never make fun of the way a man dresses. The way a man dresses is his business. Remember that. Whether it's overalls, chains, or feather earrings, however they dress, it's not to be joked about. I pity the fool that judges another man's clothing. I'm sorry I judge your clothing.
It's okay.
Lesson 1: respect each other's clothing choices.
Hey, Scout.
It's a good lesson.
That's a good
man
lesson.
over there who said he'll give us candy if we get in his van.
I don't know if that's a good idea, Timmy.
What are you afraid of? Is it because you have a stupid name like Scout? Hey! Whoa! Mr. T again! Never make fun of a person's name. Your mama gave you that name. Or you made it up for business purposes. Either way, it's personal. I pity the fool that make fun of another man's name. Mr. T's a cool name. It's a cool name, Mr. T.
Lesson 2: respect each other's name
Hey,
choices.
Scout.
Yeah.
Want to do some drugs?
Aren't drugs bad?
I don't know. If you're afraid of drugs, we could drink a bunch of alcohol.
Yum, that sounds good.
Well, guess what? Your hair is stupid. Never make fun of another person's hair. Hey, Mr. T! A person's hair is the artwork that they present to the heavens. It's just like I've been saying. It isn't fair. Beware. People care about their hair.
It's a groovy tune.
It's really awesome.
Lay my head and I cry about your mean jokes in my bed. A is for anxiety that fools provoke when they looking at my hair and they making jokes. I is for I don't like the way I feel when you're joking that my haircut does not appeal. R is for the real mean jokes you make and the hurtful little pot shots that you take. And for your information, it's not even a haircut. It's a rare form of male pattern baldness. You fools!
Oh my
Poor
gosh.
Mr. T.
Ah! Well,
Respect. It's a pretty cool thing to do. Yes,
Wow.
indeed.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was really great. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, definitely. Man, yeah, it was, like, thinking back on Mr. T, like, in the 80s, like, I mean, he was the toughest guy.
He was cool.
I mean, he was cool. He was tough.
You wanted
wanted-
him on
you-
your side for
You
sure.
did, definitely.
Yeah.
And,
You can always count on him, just to pop up and when
Yeah.
you're about to make a bad decision to
I never knew
Set
he
you
was.
straight.
I never knew he was so defensive about his hair. I mean, I always thought his hair was cool.
I did too.
I kind of wish I had that haircut right
I
now.
feel like I went to a lot of kids. I feel like I went to school with a lot of kids who tried to imitate that hairstyle.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway.
Anyway,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, Sir Rob. We will
The man, the myth, the legend.
be hearing more from Rob later on
Oh.
his haiku.
Sweet.
Also last time we heard from Matt. Oh darn it! I'm gonna get his name wrong. Matt Scarence. Is that how I said it? Scarence. I think that's how it was.
It looks like that's right.
Well, he told us, and then I think I forgot it. I'll have to go back and look.
Okay.
Let's see here. It is Matt. Because if I don't do it now, I'm gonna forget to do it later.
That's not it.
Oh,
here it is. Scare.
Oh, yes. Scare. Yeah, Scarence. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I was doing it right. Okay.
Scarence.
So Matt submitted a longer poem and then a haiku last time that we're going to read on this episode during Haiku Time.
Yeah.
But he said, I can't remember if we talked about this. We talked about some stuff with the Entwives last time, but I wanted to make sure we covered this. He said, also, I found something interesting regarding the Entwives in the unpublished epilogue to the Lord. No, we talked about this.
We did talk about that.
Okay, never mind.
We did.
All right.
I mentioned Sam's daughter.
So we almost read the same thing from Matt twice. Sorry. Okay.
Shame on you.
Well, I'm just trying to keep up with all the correspondence. Josh. Super Josh Skywalker said, Happy Thanksgiving, Carswells.
Aw, thanks, Josh. Happy
Thanks,
Thanksgiving
Josh.
to you too.
You can't see Josh's face in his picture now. It's kind of weird.
You can kind of see it.
Well, it's like it's got the, what do they call that? The
light.
Lens flare or whatever. The lens flare.
I think he did that on purpose.
I think so.
It's kind of cool looking. It's very artsy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he said Happy Thanksgiving, Carswells.
That's awesome.
And
Thanks.
happy
Hope you had a great
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving too, Josh.
Mr. Josh, Super
Superman.
Josh Skywalker.
Super Josh Skywalker.
Yeah.
Super Josh Superfans Skywalker.
And let's see here. And then Aaron Thiessen. We heard from Aaron Thiessen.
Oh, good. Hey, Aaron.
He said, Thanksgiving greetings, Carswells. Hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We did. Pretty good.
We did.
Pretty
we
spiffy.
had a very nice Thanksgiving. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
He says, I live in Canada, so I had my Thanksgiving last month. But maybe I should celebrate both holidays since I'm half American anyways. That's what you can.
You know what?
As he says, you can never get enough turkey.
You never can.
I don't see why you wouldn't. I would do that.
The only other time that I eat turkey during the year that's not Thanksgiving is cold cut turkey, and I don't even think that counts.
Well, we have friends who are
Canadian.
The husband is Canadian,
right.
the wife is American.
And they celebrate both.
They celebrate both.
That's right. You
Yeah.
should celebrate both, Aaron.
Right on.
Yeah.
He says, just recently I've decided to read the History of Middle-earth series. Ever since I finished reading the Silmarillion earlier this year, I had thought about reading it, but I was kind of turned off by the mere size and density of it. But after hearing from various sources about the material that is in them, I have decided to give it a go. I am now about halfway through the Book of Lost Tales Part 1, and while it is super dense and slow going at times, there are so many cool nuggets to pull out of it. I don't know how much you have delved into the history of Middle-earth yet, but I hope you guys plan on covering it on the show at some point. I am sure Greta would be up for that. Look at all that right there.
What's that supposed to mean?
You ready to go through all of that right there?
Yeah. Yep, totally. I can
Yeah.
barely contain my excitement.
At the present rate, we will, I'm sure there will be colonies established on Mars and maybe in other galaxies as well by that time.
By the time we get through it all.
Yeah. But, hey, that's the plan.
Didn't we do
because the
something?
road goes ever on.
Didn't we do something?
Well, we've looked at some stuff in Unfinished Tales. I don't think we've done anything in History of Middle-earth.
Okay.
I don't know. We probably won't go, step by step through the history of Middle-earth.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? We may. I just don't know yet because we still have so much to do before we get there.
Right.
But what we might do is just pick out some interesting parts. I really want to do some stuff on the different stuff on Baron and Luthien in there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That'd be
and there's a lot of other really interesting just
mm-hmm.
stuff that's kind of hidden in there.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I say sure.
Yeah, you're like, oh, woo.
All
right. But I hope you guys plan on covering it on the show at some point. Yeah, I'm sure Greta would be up for that. Of course she would.
You know it.
We all know how much she is into the backstory and minutia of Tolkien's works. Yeah, speaking of which, you shared with me that you thought the subject matter for this episode was a little on the boring side.
Yeah, a little.
We'll have to talk about that.
A lot, actually.
We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, it sounds like Aaron's getting to know me pretty well.
Yeah, he says, in fact, she has probably already read them all in her spare time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, well, I didn't want to brag.
Yeah.
I didn't want to show you up. I know you're supposed to be the expert here, so.
Yeah.
Maybe I have, maybe I haven't.
Yeah, you read them all. You gave him the Johnny 5 read.
Is that what that was?
Yep.
Yep.
Need input.
Maybe that'll be my Christmas break read. My light reading for Christmas break.
There you go. And then he sent along his haiku. So good hearing from you, Aaron,
Perfect.
as
Yes.
always.
Great. Thanks, Aaron.
Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Let's see.
A month late.
A month late. Well, 2 months
Almost
late now.
2 months late, yeah.
And last but not least is a new listener.
Oh, nice.
Corey Butler. Corey
Butler.
Corey says, "Hey John and Greta, just listened to your podcast and now up to episode 4. Or just started to listen to your podcast and now up to episode 4. I've been a huge fan of Tolkien since I first saw the movies. I started to collect as many books as I could on Tolkien to understand what his vision was. I've even been involved in the Lord of the Rings online game since 2010.
Oh,
You know,
I didn't
that
know
is the kind of stuff
existed.
that I wish I had more time. Like, I really do love video games.
I know you do.
I really do love video games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough time in the world to play. Like, I just would love so much to be able to play, like, the Lord of the Rings online game.
I know you would, babe.
But hey, I want to do this podcast, and it's a little bit of work, but it's a labor of love, bringing it out
Yep.
there.
Yep.
And maybe one of these days I'll have some time to play the Lord of the Rings online game.
Maybe you will.
But anyway, back to Corey's note. He says, "I found your podcast totally refreshing and so informative that explained things that I was struggling to wrap my head around.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. Thanks to you both for making it a lot easier for me to understand the backstories." Well, thanks for listening, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I found the Balerion Days, in particular, the Children of Hurin, an absolutely awesome tale that I'd found so compelling that I found it hard to put down when I first read it.
Wow.
I hope to stay in contact if I need any information in the future. Well, we hope you do stay in contact, Corey.
Yeah.
Always love hearing from
keep reaching out, please.
from another listener, every listener.
Send us a haiku.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, Corey, he calls himself your Aussie mate.
Oh.
So
he's from Australia?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Can we hear your best Australian accent, Greta, for Corey?
No.
You're not going to try.
I don't. I'm afraid that when I try, it may come off as offensive.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably wise.
But I do love the Australian accent.
Yeah.
I do. You know, my first preceptor at the hospital
It was Australian?
was
yeah.
Australian.
Yeah.
And it made things a little difficult because she had different words for things,
Mhm.
like nappies.
Yeah.
Nappies.
Nappies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what a nappy was for
Right.
the longest time.
Do you know what a nappy is now?
It's a diaper.
Oh, okay.
I worked in pediatrics. That's how
Yeah.
that explains that. We're talking about baby diapers.
Was it the pediatrics or geriatrics?
And then she said she was going to go to the Louvre. And I was like, you're going to go to the
That
Louvre?
sounds like French.
I know, right? It does.
You're going to go to the museum in France?
I know. We actually met the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Anyway, I would love to visit Australia sometime.
I would too. I would love to go down under.
Down
as they
under?
say. When Australians talk about the United States, do they talk about us as down under? Because we're like on the flip side of the world.
But aren't they south of the equator?
Yeah, but I mean, maybe we're just looking at the world upside down.
But we're not south of the equator.
We're north of the equator, but it's all kind of relative, right?
I don't think they call us down under.
Do they call us like up above?
Yes,
Up above. Okay,
up above.
that's right.
That's probably what they do.
Well, Corey, from your mates up above, it's great hearing from you.
Yes. Keep it coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about chapter 5.
Finally.
The rest of chapter 5. So, I was kind of thinking about this as we were reading, and I was thinking, when Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli set out from Rivendell with the rest of the Fellowship, they had like this great sense of purpose. They were going to do this like the most important thing in like ages in
And
Middle Earth.
they all had that.
They all had this incredible sense of purpose.
Yeah.
They were gonna be this like little group around the ring bearer, ensuring that he got to Mordor and was able to destroy the ring.
They were gonna be the posse of all posses, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff legends are made of.
Mm-hmm.
And now they find themselves like totally, almost like without like their purpose is like completely gone. They pretty much, just removed from themselves from the idea that they have anything else to contribute to the ring bearer.
They're pretty downtrodden.
And all they can do is just try to find their friends that they think might be alive.
Right.
Like on the outside chance they might still be alive.
Right.
And I was just thinking like that's a really interesting dynamic, like to go from being in this place where you're like, I've got the greatest of all missions, and now you're like, what do I do now? Like, my mission is totally gone. My mission in life
Yeah.
is totally gone.
Yeah.
You know?
So all of a sudden go from a great sense of purpose to no sense of purpose.
Yeah, but what's cool is that right when that, you know, kind of, that's all sort of setting in,
Mm-hmm.
who comes along?
None other than
Gandalf. Gandalf the White.
The White.
Yeah, Gandalf the White. So, you know, pretty cool little setup. They met up with Gandalf the White last, in the first part of this chapter. And they're still just kind of getting caught up with everything that's been going on.
Right.
And what he knows at this point. So the first thing they discuss, sitting down here with Gandalf, is Boromir. They have a short discussion about Boromir, and what Gandalf has to say is actually very, very encouraging. He says, "Poor Boromir. I could not see what happened to him. It was a sore trial for such a man, a warrior and a lord of men. Galadriel told me that he was in peril, but he escaped in the end. I am glad. It was not in vain that the young hobbits came with us, if only for Boromir's sake." So it's good to hear that Gandalf's assessment of him is that he escaped in the end, right? You know, even though he died.
Right. So he's
Yeah.
talking about escaping the temptation.
I think ultimately
of the ring.
his soul is escaping the power of the ring, right?
Gotcha.
He died. His soul was not imprisoned when he died. You know,
Mm-hmm.
his
He
soul.
died in a happy.
He
place.
died a good death.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, I just think it's notable to hear that reinforced. We talked about that some in the chapter on Boromir, but it's good to hear it reinforced here by Gandalf.
What do you think that means when Gandalf says it was not in vain that the young hobbits came with us, if only for Boromir's sake? What is that? What does he mean by that?
Well, remember Boromir, like he fell to temptation when he tried to take the ring from Frodo,
Mm-hmm.
but then he was able to help. He was able to like kind of regain himself by wanting to go help
Okay.
Merry and Pippin.
Okay.
Right.
That's what.
Even if it was just for a
drew
short
him
moment.
out of.
Yeah, I think that's what he means.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just was interested to hear your 2 cents.
Yeah, good question.
Thanks.
And that leads into a rather long discussion on Saruman and the ring.
Right.
So there's a good, there's a lot of info here, but what he starts off by saying is what Gandalf starts off by saying about Saruman and the ring is really interesting. He says, For already Sauron knows that the messengers that he sent to waylay the company have failed again. They have not found the ring. Neither have they brought away any hobbits as hostages. Had they done even so much as that, it would have been a heavy blow to us, and it might have been fatal. But let us not darken our hearts by imagining the trial of their gentle loyalty in the Dark Tower. For the enemy has failed, so far, thanks to Saruman. So Gimli is surprised that Aragorn says thanks to Saruman at that. He says, then is Saruman not a traitor?
Wait, who says?
Gimli is surprised that Gandalf says thanks
Oh,
to
Gandalf.
Saruman.
Okay, for some reason,
Yeah.
I thought you said Aragorn for some reason. Okay.
And then Gandalf
Yeah.
replies to Gimli and says, indeed, yes, he is a traitor, doubly. And is not that strange? Nothing that we have endured of late has seemed so grievous as the treason of Isengard. Even reckoned as a lord and captain, Saruman had grown very strong. He threatens the men of Rohan and draws off their help from Minas Tirith, even as the main blow is approaching from the east. Yet a treacherous weapon is ever a danger to the hand. Saruman also had a mind to capture the ring for himself, or at least to snare some hobbits for his evil purposes. So between them, our enemies have contrived only to bring Merry and Pippin with marvelous speed, and in the nick of time, to Fangorn, where otherwise they would never have come at all. So it's kind of a happy
Fault.
yeah, maybe, I guess it's a happy turn of events that even though Saruman and Sauron are both trying to get their hands on the ring and they're putting forth all this effort to do it, and the two hobbits were taken away, that ultimately what happens is the two hobbits wind up in Fangorn, and
Right, because of the dispute,
Right.
between the two groups of orcs.
and they meet up with Treebeard,
Right.
right, which is going to lead to
Right, to the
a
Ents
whole nother
revival.
series of events. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Now, Saruman isn't. So, yeah, I was surprised too when when Gimli used the word traitor
Mm-hmm.
in relation to Saruman. Now Saruman, I mean, do you think is he knowingly trying to undercut Sauron, or is he just trying to get it for himself? I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
does he realize what he's doing?
Oh yeah, it's like Saruman knows that he's trying. Because remember, Treebeard says he's trying to make himself a power.
Right. And so he is knowingly
trying to take the ring from Sauron.
So okay,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't.
Or
get
trying
that
to get his
before.
hands on it before Sauron gets it.
Before Sauron does. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's
for
funny.
some reason I thought they were like that they were allies.
No,
Not...
well, see, that's the thing. That's one of the problems with the movies is they take a lot of liberty with that and make Saruman more out to be an allegiance with Sauron, almost like he takes like an oath of loyalty to Sauron.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not how it is in the book, and it's much more interesting, I think, that way when he's trying to set himself up as a power, because it's more in tune with the idea of the ring, that everybody wants to use the ring, and most of them think they are trying to use it for good purposes.
Right.
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 Like Saruman, maybe once upon a time, maybe his first step towards the path he went down was thinking to himself, well, maybe I can. Sorry, distraction. Maybe I can do some good if I get my hands on the ring instead of Sauron. Right? Maybe I can actually stand up against him, and I can muster all of the forces of Middle Earth to defeat Sauron, and they'll all still be free. But the ring always gets one leg up on you, right?
Right.
So the desire for the ring has corrupted Saruman to where he's almost just like another Sauron now.
I see. But do you think he started out with good intentions?
See, that's the tricky thing about intentions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, really, like, it's, intentions are mysterious things.
Yes. That's true.
Like even when you think you have a good intention going into something, it can be a very mixed thing.
It can be.
It can be a very mixed bag.
Yeah, it's true.
At least I found that true in my own life.
Yeah, I think you're right. Most of the time, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So Saruman. So I guess Gimli kind of was thinking that what I was thinking, right? That Sauron and Saruman were allies, which is why he calls Saruman a traitor. He wouldn't have called Saruman a traitor if.
Yeah, I don't know if Gimli necessarily thinks Saruman was in cahoots with Sauron. It doesn't. That's kind of that's another interesting thing about Lord of the Rings, is that there's not like a good guys versus the bad guys kind of setup, right? Mm-hmm. It's more like you've got the good guys, and then you got a whole bunch of different bad guys that may be out to get each other.
Yeah.
But that's more like the way the world really is anyway, right?
True.
Not all the bad guys are on one side, Yeah. And sometimes the good guys aren't all like, locked arms, kind of like with the Ents, right? The Ents don't feel like anybody's all together on their side.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah.
So, the only thing with the bad guys is that, their treachery always comes back to get them. Always comes back to get them in the end.
Right. Right.
And that's the ironic twist of so many of their actions.
Indeed.
Another interesting little tidbit that we find out is Legolas, when he shot at the winged messenger. We learned a little bit. Gandalf tells us that it was one of the Nazgul.
Right.
And that he may have killed the beast that the Nazgul was riding, but it was basically just he just calls it basically you just fell his steed. The
right. Yeah.
The ring wraith is still.
Right.
Still out
so these
there.
are the same guys that were riding horses.
Yeah.
In Fellowship. Is that right?
They just got cooler rides now.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got pimped up.
Mm-hmm.
Pimped up flying machines.
They were like, "Hey Sauron, pimp my ride, yo. Pimp my ride."
I forgot about that show.
I remember that show, but I never watched it. I don't think I've ever watched an episode.
I think I watched it like once.
I've never been a car person.
I was gonna say it's great for car people.
Yeah.
But that was Pimp My House. I'd be all about that.
Well, I know that's basically what you watch all the time.
I watch all the time. Yeah, I'm a little addicted to HGTV.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. And then the last little bit in this section is actually two more things about this section with Saruman and the ring. Gandalf says about Saruman, and all the time there is another danger close at hand which Saruman does not see. Busy with his fiery thoughts, he has forgotten Treebeard. And so Saruman, much like he didn't even like give a second thought to the hobbits at first, and much like Sauron didn't as well. Now they've both overlooked the Ents, right?
Yep.
They've overlooked the Ents, and now Gandalf is giving us a sense that that was a huge mistake on their part.
Yes.
And then what we learn is that actually it turns out Saruman was the old man that scared the horses away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is interesting because basically that means Saruman was there, scared the old horses away, and then or Saruman was there, scared the horses away, and then Gandalf showed up the next morning, right? And was like trailing them through the forest.
Yeah, that's weird. So do you think it's weird though that he didn't bother the company at all?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think? He didn't do anything to Gimli or Legolas or Aragorn.
Well, maybe he hoped that just by scaring their horses away, he may not have wanted a full-on confrontation, right? Because, he knows that they're not exactly like weaklings. And there's 3 of them. I mean, Saruman may be a great wizard, but at the same time, maybe he was just maybe he was kind of hedging his bets, scared their horses away, they'll be on foot, they can't get anywhere that way. It'll take them a lot longer to get where they want to go.
That's true. Yeah.
And maybe they'll wander into the forest, and then they'll die there,
That's true. That could be.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I feel like did we talk about this last episode? Whatever it was when the horses got scared away. I thought we had at least I thought we had talked about that we thought it was Gandalf, right? Because that appeared that night because the horses sounded like they were greeting a friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember we talked about that.
Yeah, well, I think they talk about that at the end of the chapter, and they say that
maybe
maybe
it was because of Shadowfax.
It was because of Shadowfax.
Yeah. But I don't know. I was just surprised when I learned that it was Saruman.
It's a very confusing little episode.
It is confusing.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't like it.
Well, I'm just talking about why the horses.
The whole chapter's confusing.
Oh, come on.
This whole part of the chapter, about whole Sauron and Saruman not being allies, and the whole thing with the.
Well, let's read this. What does he actually say? He says, was it you, Gandalf, or Saruman that we saw last night? That's Gimli. Gandalf says, "You certainly did not see me. Therefore, I must guess that you saw Saruman. Evidently, we look so much alike that you desire to make an incurable dent in my hat. That your desire to make an incurable dent in my hat must be excused." "Good, good," said Gimli. "I'm glad that it was not you." So Gandalf pretty much says point blank that it was not him, so it must have been Saruman.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that was actually what scared the horses away, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It could have been, and I think that's what they say later about Shadowfax, but we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll figure that out when we get to the bit about Shadowfax.
Okay.
So Gandalf shares a little bit of some thoughts on Treebeard and the Ents, because the Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli have varying degrees. None of them have much familiarity with the Ents, and I don't think Gimli has ever even heard the term.
Right.
Legolas knows of it. He actually refers to them by their elvish name, Onodrim.
Right.
He says, "Nay, every elf in Wilderland has sung songs of the old Onodrim and their long sorrow. Yet even among us, they are only a memory."
And Aragorn thinks they're a legend, right? He actually calls them a legend of Rohan.
Right. And Gandalf says about them, the little that I know of his long, slow story, of Treebeard's long, slow story, would make a tale for which we have no time now. Treebeard is Fangorn, the guardian of the forest. He is the oldest of the Ents, the oldest living thing that still walks beneath the sun upon this middle earth. I hope indeed, Legolas, that you may yet see him. Merry and Pippin have been fortunate. They met him here, even where we sit. For he came here 2 days ago and bore them away to his dwelling far off by the roots of the mountains. He often comes here, especially when his mind is uneasy and rumors of the world outside trouble him. I saw him 4 days ago striding among the trees, and I think he saw me, for he paused. But I did not speak, for I was heavy with thought and weary after my struggle with the Eye of Mordor, and he did not speak either, nor call my name. Gimli is confused, and he says, I thought Fangorn, again, which is one of the names of Treebeard, was dangerous.
Right.
And, but you speak of him as if he was a friend. To that, Gandalf says, dangerous. I like this part. Dangerous, and so am I. Very dangerous. More dangerous than anything you will ever meet, unless you are brought alive before the seat of the Dark Lord. And Aragorn is dangerous, and Legolas is dangerous. You are beset with dangers, Gimli, son of Gloin, for you are dangerous yourself in your own fashion. Certainly the forest of Fangorn is perilous, not least to those that are too ready with their axes. And Fangorn himself, he is perilous too, yet he is wise and kindly nonetheless. But now his long, slow wrath is brimming over, and all the forest is filled with it. The coming of the hobbits and the tidings that they brought have spilled it. It will soon be running like a flood, and its tide is turned against Saruman and the axes of Isengard. So, a thing can be both dangerous and good.
True.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Just because it's dangerous doesn't mean that it's necessarily evil. I think it's Gandalf's point there.
It's a good point to make.
It's an interesting point. It reminds me a little bit of, I think it was in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, where one of the characters is talking about Aslan and says that, I'm going to get the quote wrong, but it's like, he's not a tame lion, right? Like he's not, basically it says like, he's not nice, but he's good, right?
Right.
He's not tame, he's dangerous, but he's good, is what they say about Aslan in there, effectively. Are you looking it up?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Oh, not a tame lion. I think that's what it was. Yeah. It says, oh, here it is. It says, safe. He's not safe.
Yeah, he's not safe, but he's good.
Yes.
Who says it's one of the Beavers, right? Like one Mr. Beaver or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't think this is the whole quote, but yeah, it's I think it is. I think it's Mr. Beaver. Mm-hmm. He's not tame, but he's good. But I mean, he's not safe, but he's good.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, given their friendship, who, if one of them came up with the idea first, and then they both used that little
thing
that
about
little thought,
how it can be both dangerous and good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or it could have been one of their other friends, and then they both liked it and used it. One of the other Inklings or something.
Yeah, it could be, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great book. I should go back and read that.
Yeah. It's not long.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not long at all.
I was thinking, have our kids all read those? I know they've read some of them, but they should read all of them.
So we've all read Magician's Nephew.
Yeah.
I don't think the boys... Evie has read Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
A couple of times. But the boys have... I don't think the boys have. Sorry, I'm like obsessed with this now. I want to find it.
It's okay, they've seen the movies.
Oh, here it is. Safe.
You missed my joke.
What was it?
I said it's okay, they've seen the movies.
Have they?
Maybe I'm sure they saw the original.
They probably did.
But I was joking.
So here's the quote from Mr. Beaver.
Don't judge me.
Let me read this quote by Mr. Beaver.
Would you hurry up and read the quote?
Okay, all right, fine. Stop interrupting me. Safe, said Mr. Beaver. Don't you hear what Mrs. Beaver tells you? Who said anything about safe? Course he isn't safe, but he's good. He's the king, I tell you. Yeah, he's not safe, but he's good.
Right on.
And safe, obviously, the opposite of dangerous. So they're pretty much saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can all be right.
I guess so.
Okay.
I wonder if one of them copied it off the other and then just changed the word, like just changed it to not safe instead of dangerous or vice versa. Yeah. That's a kind of a funny thought. When they were having one of their Inklings meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, you ripped that off of me. No, you ripped it off of me. I said it first. No, I had it first.
See, I wrote it on this napkin back at the bar.
That's right. I think Lewis, the Narnia Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe actually came out before Lord of the Rings, like maybe a couple of years. But that doesn't mean that Tolkien didn't write it first, because he was writing the Lord of the Rings for years.
That is true. No, that is.
I'm actually inclined to think that Lewis took it from Tolkien, because I feel like Lewis was far more like inspired by Tolkien. I'm not saying that there wasn't some going back the other way, but I think Tolkien was almost like a mentor for Lewis.
Yeah.
Like Lewis was kind of the as I understand it, he was kind of the life of the party amongst the Inklings, but Tolkien was kind of the quieter guy that everybody just respected and was like, he's the total genius, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, just kind of sat back and they were like, I hope Tolkien thinks I'm smart, you know?
Right.
He, you know, he was like listening
Right.
to everything they were saying, and then he would like pipe in with something, and they would all be like, that was deep, man. Wow. At least that's the image I have.
I can see that.
That's the image I have.
I can see that.
All right.
Anyway, that's a cool thought about something being dangerous, but
Yeah.
still good.
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
I know. That's why I brought it up.
Kind of like brown recluses.
What?
No, they're dangerous, but they're good because they eat all the other spiders in your house. It's true.
Don't be telling me spiders are good.
I'm just telling you. They're dangerous, but they're good.
Do they really eat other spiders?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, that's really.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
True. It's true.
I'm still gonna kill a brown recluse if I find one.
No, you should. Because if it bites you, it's dangerous.
Yeah, brown recluse can mess you up.
I mean, it can't kill you.
I know, but I've met some people who've gotten pretty messed up by a brown recluse bite. I've
Have
known
you?
some people, yeah.
Known some people?
Yeah, like mental issues and that kind of thing.
No, we were thinking of tarantulas.
No, seriously.
Brown recluses?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Don't
Yeah.
tell me. I don't want to get scared and paranoid.
Yeah.
Anyway. Dangerous but good.
Dangerous but good.
Kind
All
of
right.
like me.
Okay. So war. So at this point, they're trying to figure out like what do we do next? You know, they're starting to get a bigger picture of everything that's going on. Gandalf being here is giving them a kind of renewing their sense of, you know, what do we need to be doing now?
Right.
And they know now that Merry and Pippin are safely with Treebeard.
But that doesn't stop them from wanting to go after them.
Well, obviously, because that was the mission they were on. But Gandalf is kind of redirecting them now.
Right. He is redirecting them. Yes.
He says, Aragorn says, "Do we go to find our friends and to see Treebeard?" Gandalf says, "No, that is not the hope. That is not the road that you must take. I have spoken words of hope, but only of hope. Hope is not victory. War is upon us and all our friends. War is upon us and all our friends. A war in which only the only the use of the ring could give us surety of victory. It fills me with great sorrow and great fear, for much shall be destroyed and all may be lost. I am Gandalf, Gandalf the White, but black is mightier still."
So he's talking about Saruman there, right?
Yeah. So
But
they're
Saruman's white. Now I'm confused.
well. So he's saying that war from both Saruman and war from Sauron are upon them, right?
Uh-huh.
There's kind of a two-front war.
What is he referring to when he says black is mightier still?
Sauron.
He is Sauron.
I think generally he's just referring to evil, but
Oh, okay.
and specifically, you know, Sauron is the Dark Lord, right?
Got it. Okay.
So, you know, that's kind of a signal that they need to figure out how they can get involved in this war,
Right.
right? It's time to stop looking for your friends and to, you know, pony up and go see what you can do to contribute to the war effort,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
They're far bigger fish to fry, according to Gandalf.
Right.
Gandalf reassures Aragorn, and you know that he made a good decision in the Valley of Emyn
When he was trying to decide who to go after.
right when he
Yeah.
was trying to decide, do we go after them, and you know he says, from what you knew at that time, you chose well. It
Yep.
was not an easy decision, but now you must go to Edoras and seek out Theoden in his hall. You need to go find Theoden, the king of the Mark, and
And he's the guy that.
help to muster the men of Rohan, right?
Right. Okay.
In this battle.
And they're the ones that were just through here, right? They're the ones that killed off all those orcs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is kind of Gandalf's official call in a way to Aragorn to begin to take up his kingly call, right? You know, because he says to him, the light of Andúril, his sword, must now be uncovered in the battle for which it has so long waited. There is war in Rohan, and worse evil. It goes ill with Theoden. And further down it says, Aragorn rose and looked long at Gandalf. The others gazed at them in silence as they stood there facing one another. The grey figure of the man, Aragorn, son of Arathorn, was tall and stern as stone, his hand upon the hilt of his sword. He looked as if some king out of the midst of the sea had stepped upon the shores of lesser men. Before him stooped the old figure, white, shining now as if with some light kindled within, bent, laden with years, but holding a power beyond the strength of kings. That's a cool little image there, because you know, if you remember reading Akalabath, and the kings of Numenor were like the kings from beyond the sea, right? They were this island island nation, and they would come to the shores. Originally, they came to the shores of Middle Earth with good purpose, and they kind of brought the light of Valinor to the ways of the Valar and Iluvatar to the people of the men of Middle Earth who were in darkness,
right?
Like the pagan men of Middle Earth,
Right. Yeah.
Eventually, they all kind of went bad, but it's recalling. This is an allusion to that, right? This is an allusion to the good old kings of Numenor, and the things they did, and also to Aragorn's ancestors, Elendil and Isildur.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't pick up on that.
And they're coming to, to Middle Earth to set up their own kingdoms after Numenor fell.
After the fall.
Right.
Yeah. Good call. I did not even pick up on that.
Yeah, so cool, nifty little allusion.
Yeah.
Allusion there to Numenor, the story of Numenor. All right. Let's see here. So, this next part is really interesting to me. Hopefully you're not too bored by now. Why don't you read about Gandalf and the Balrog here? If you want to start where Gimli says, "Come, Gandalf, tell us how you fared with the Balrog."
Oh, so I thought this was funny. Where tell us how you and then he says, what is he says, name him not, and then he says, he basically says, I'm not going to talk about it, right? And then he goes on this whole long spiel.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought you weren't going to talk about it, and now you're like giving them like the minutest of details, like you're talking about it blow by blow.
Does he say somewhere I'm not going to talk about it?
Well, no, it's already kind of. He says, I have stayed already too long, but if there were a year to spend, I would not tell you all.
Mm-hmm.
See? I would not tell you all. And he goes on, and he just doesn't shut up for like the next 3 pages.
Well, maybe,
and I'm like, really, Gandalf?
Maybe he wants to tell a story. Maybe he was just being modest, but he really wanted to tell the story. I would if I had just, fallen into the heart of the earth and slain a Balrog and then climbed up a stair and died. And, well, actually, he follows the Balrog up the stair and beats him on the top of the highest mountain in Middle Earth and dies and then comes back to life. I mean, that's kind of a cool story.
I guess it is a cool story, but don't say you're not going to tell it and then tell it. You know what I'm saying?
That's just how Gandalf is. Deal with it.
Deal with it. I would have just walked away. I would have been like, you said you weren't going to talk and we should be on our way, so let's go.
Yeah, he wouldn't have walked away. It's Gandalf we're talking about.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
He would have frozen me on the spot.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, fine. What do you want me to read? The whole thing?
Just the part where, "Come, Gandalf, tell us how you fared with the Balrog."
Okay. Okay, so Gandalf says, "Name him not," said Gandalf, and for a moment it seemed that a cloud of pain passed over his face, and he sat silent, looking old as death. "Long time I fell," he said at last, slowly, as if thinking back with difficulty. "Long I fell, and he fell with me. His fire was about me. I was burned. Then we plunged into the deep water, and all was dark. Cold it was as the tide of death. Almost it froze my heart. Deep is the abyss that is spanned by Durin's bridge, and none has measured it," said Gimli. "Yes, it has a bottom, beyond light and knowledge," said Gandalf. "Thither I came at last, to the uttermost foundations of stone. He was with me still. His fire was quenched, but now he was a thing of slime, stronger than a strangling snake. We fought far under the living earth, where time is not counted. Ever he clutched me, and ever I hewed him, till at last he fled into dark tunnels. They were not made by Durin's folk, Gimli, son of Gloin. Far, far below the deepest delvings of the dwarves, the world is gnawed by nameless things. Even Sauron knows them not. They are older than he. Now I have walked there, but I will bring no report to darken the light of day. In that despair my enemy was my only hope, and I pursued him, clutching at his heel. Thus he brought me back, at last, to the secret ways of Khazad-dûm. Too well he knew them all. Ever up now we went, until we came to the endless stair." "Long has that been lost," said Gimli. "Many have said that it was never made save in legend, but others say it was destroyed." "Oh, it was made, and it had not been destroyed," said Gandalf. "From the lowest dungeon to the highest peak it climbed, descending in unbroken spiral and many thousand steps, until it issued at last in Durin's tower, carved in the living rock of where?
Zerog-Ziggle.
Zerog-Ziggle, the pinnacle of the Silvertine. Thereopon
Celebdil.
What?
Celebdil. Remember Hardsea?
Oh, right. Yes. There upon Celebdil was a lonely window in the snow, and before it lay a narrow space, a dizzy eyrie above the mists of the world. The sun shone fiercely there, but all below was wrapped in cloud. Out he sprang, and even as I came behind, he burst into new flame. There was none to see, or perhaps in after ages songs would still be sung of the battle of the peak. Suddenly Gandalf laughed. But what would they say in song? Those that looked upon from afar thought that the mountain was crowned with storm. Thunder they heard, and lightning. They said, "Smote upon Celebdil," and leaped back broken into tongues of fire. Is not that enough? A great smoke rose about us, vapor and steam. Ice fell like rain. I threw down my enemy, and he fell from the high place and broke the mountainside where he smote it in his ruin. Then darkness took me, and I strayed out of thought and time, and I wandered far on roads that I will not tell. Naked I was sent back for a brief time until my task is done, and naked I lay upon the mountain top. The tower behind was crumbled into dust, the window gone. The ruined stair was choked with burned and broken stone. I was alone, forgotten, without escape upon the hard horn of the world. There I lay, staring upward while the stars wheeled over, and each day was as long as a life age of the earth. Faint to my ears came the gathered rumor of all lands, the springing and the dying, the song and the weeping, and the slow everlasting groan of overburdened stone. And so, at the last, Gwahir, the Wind Lord, found me again, and he took me up and bore me away.
I mean, and so, and then there's a little bit more about Gwahir.
He's the eagle.
Yeah.
Is he the one that rescued him the last time, like when he was hanging from the tower? Okay.
And what's cool is that, the eagles are like emissaries of Manwë.
Manwë,
right?
Yes.
So.
And they don't rescue just anybody.
That's right. But, I mean, I just think, I think this is a really cool little passage because, we get this whole image. When Gandalf first falls into the abyss, you think he's just gone, right?
Yeah.
But you get this whole story about like all the
what's going on under the surface.
This is to me is one of the key reasons I love Lord of the Rings is because you find out all of this other stuff going on
right
simultaneously.
The backstories
that I love
so much.
And but hearing about like all the things in the in the depths of the world, right? Where is it? Far below the deepest delvings of the dwarves, the world is gnawed by nameless things.
Not even Sauron.
That's just kind of a cool sentence. Far below the deepest delvings of the dwarves, the world is gnawed by nameless things. There's like all kinds of alliteration in there. That's a very it's a very like Tolkienian sentence there. But just the idea that there's all these like dark creatures that not even Sauron knows about down in the dark places of the world, Yeah. I mean, there's stories everywhere in Middle Earth,
True.
They're just...
You just got to go deep.
And like mysterious hidden things, right? Yeah. Just everywhere is everywhere is potentially dangerous, And then, the whole thing of the endless stair, and, they'd heard of it, but none of them thought it really existed. But Gandalf's like, yep, it really exists. And I just climbed it all to kill the Balrog, right?
Yeah, so I guess I was a little confused by it all. Because I was like, I don't know, I was just confused by, like, the fire, and then the window of snow, and the eyrie, and the tower, and the mountain. And I was like, I couldn't picture it in my head.
Well, he climbs, so they fall down into the deep part of the world,
right.
And then they find the endless stair, and the Balrog is basically running from Gandalf, and climbs this endless stair all the way up to the top of this mountain.
Okay.
Right, like kind of inside the mountain. With Gandalf chasing him, and then on the top of the mountain, they have a final battle.
Okay. And
there's like a tower on top of the mountain, like an ancient tower on top of the mountain, and they like destroy the side of the mountain in their battle. It's like an epic.
Well, this mountain is now above sea level.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a mountain. Yeah, it's above.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was an underground mountain. You can have underground mountain and underwater mountains.
Yeah, but this is an actual above
That's what
ground.
I was confused. I just couldn't picture
when he says the hard horn of the world, I think. The hard horn of the world. Like, think of that as like, the surface of the world, and then there's like a horn sticking up on it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
There you go. You've been schooled.
I have been schooled.
But I love that part. Anyway.
Well, good. I'm glad. So he kills the Balrog and then he dies?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was also confused about. I was like, well, did he die or not? I thought he died.
I'm sorry. He didn't, he kind of, like, falls asleep He says, "There I lay staring upward with the stars wheeled over, and each day was as long as a life age of the earth."
So it's almost like he went to another world, like afterlife or something.
Yeah, it's almost like he kind of drifts into some other reality. But he doesn't say he died. It doesn't say he died. He just kind of enters this like mystical, almost like trance, and that's when the eagle comes and gets him, and
He goes to Rivendell.
takes him to Lothlorien.
Oh, Lothlorien, my bad.
Takes him to Lothlorien.
Yep.
So while he's in Lothlorien, he visits with Galadriel,
Of course.
who had just visited with the Fellowship, and he recovers there. And Galadriel sends along messages for the different members of the Fellowship.
Yep.
First for Aragorn. Do you want to read this one? I'll read this one, and then you can read the Legolas one.
Yeah.
Where now are the Dunedain, Elessar? Why do thy kinsfolk wander afar? Near is the hour when the lost should come forth, and the grey company ride from the north. But dark is the path appointed for thee. The dead watch the road that leads to the sea. So very mysterious sort of message for him, but fits with Gandalf's message of it's time to rise up and be the king that you were called to be.
Right.
You want to read Legolas?
Oh, yeah. To Legolas she sent this word. Legolas Greenleaf, long under tree, in joy thou hast lived, beware of the sea. If thou hearest the cry of the gull on the shore, thy heart shall then rest in the forest no more.
Beware of the sea. I love that. And it's cool. It's cool when you, towards the end, when you see what happens with Legolas. After you read that, to see what happens with Legolas. So hopefully we'll remember that when we get to book 6.
All right.
And then Gimli's like, "What? Come on, man. What about me?
Yeah.
Where's my?"
He's so sad.
I know. He's like, "Didn't she have anything for me?" He's like,
we know how Gimli feels about Galadriel.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's it's funny. It's almost like Gandalf is kind of messing with him a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling too.
Yes, I think I can guess what her words mean. Wait. He says, well, Legolas is like, "Wait, you want her to tell you about your death?" Because it seems like he's like,
yeah, his is very ominous.
Didn't she tell me about my death?
Right.
Which it's not explicit that that's what.
Well, it's not a very joyful.
But it doesn't necessarily speak about his death.
No, but it has kind of a dark undertone to it, I think.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't really expect anything.
But maybe
less from
Legolas is just
Galadriel.
trying to make Gimli feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gandalf kind of thinks about it for a minute, and he says, "Your pardon, Gimli. I was pondering the messages once again, but indeed she sent words to you, and neither dark nor sad." It's interesting. He kind of, as he's repeating these words to Aragorn and Legolas, he's like thinking about them, and he just starts pondering them, and he forgets to tell Gimli. It's like he just kind of forgets because he's thinking so much about the other things he said to Aragorn and Legolas that he forgets. Yeah. Oh yeah, Gimli wants to know something. He says, "To Gimli, son of Gloin, give his ladies greetings. Lockbearer, wherever thou goest, my thought goes with thee. But have a care to lay thine axe to the right tree." And Gimli is just like, "In happy hour you have returned to us, Gandalf." And he starts like singing loudly in dwarf language, and he starts swinging his axe about. I love what he says here. "Since Gandalf's head is now sacred, let us find one that it is right to cleave." So he's just like, "Let's go find some heads to chop."
Yeah, he's like ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an awesome part. That's that's a part that makes you love Gimli.
Yes.
All it takes is to know that Galadriel thinks of him, and he's like, "All right, let's go kill some bad guys."
It really is sets a fire. Yeah. He's like on fire.
Yeah.
He's like ready to go.
Right.
He's like, "I got word from my lady."
But have a care to lay thine axe to the right tree, which is funny, like because it's almost like she may have she's like cautioning him, like don't just indiscriminately kill everything that comes across your path, like
right. Right. Yes. It's like have some self-control.
Right.
Think before you chop.
That's right. Okay. And then, so after that, it's like, all right, time to get on the road, time to get going. And Gandalf whistles, and at that, the horses come. Shadowfax and 2 other horses. Now let's see if we can find a little bit about. The 2 horses that come are actually the horses that had run away. right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wait, don't. Oh, 3 come, but it's the 2
But
that ran
Shadowfax
away
and then-
plus Shadowfax.
Plus
yeah.
Shadowfax, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And it says, let's see, where are their names? That is Shadowfax. He is the chief of the Maras, Lord of Horses, and not even Theoden, King of Rohan, has ever looked on a better. Does he not shine like silver and run as smoothly as a swift stream? He has come for me, the horse of the White Rider. We are going to battle together.
Have we heard of Shadowfax before now?
I think he was briefly mentioned another time in. I think he's mentioned in the Council of Elrond because Gandalf had used Shadowfax at different times.
Okay, that's okay.
Previously.
Yeah. Okay.
Where does it speak about the names of the other horses? Oh yeah, there we go. We go at once to Medusel, the hall of your master Theoden, said Gandalf, addressing them gravely. Time presses, so with your leave, my friends, we will ride. We beg you to use all the speed that you can. Hasufel shall bear Aragorn and Arad Legolas. I will set Gimli before me, and by his leave, Shadowfax shall bear us both. We will now wait only to drink a little. And Legolas says, now I understand a part of last night's riddle. Whether they fled at first in fear or not, our horses met Shadowfax, their chieftain, and greeted him with joy. Did you know that he was at hand, Gandalf? So, we don't know whether they ultimately fled because they saw Shadowfax or whether they fled because they got scared by Saruman.
Saruman, right.
But they quickly saw Shadowfax, and that was why it sounded like joy.
Right.
You know, when they had run off.
Right.
Right? Because they were happy to see Shadowfax.
Yes.
And I like how Gandalf relates to Shadowfax. He's like, by your leave, Shadowfax. He's like, he treats him like he's he has to have Shadowfax's permission to ride him. But I mean, that's cool, like, because that's just showing.
It shows what a
the respect he has.
What a regal steed he is.
Yeah.
So is he from Rohan then? The horse?
That's interesting.
Because he mentions Theoden. I don't know. I felt like I don't know.
He's almost like he's a horse of. It almost makes me think he's like. I wonder. I may have to go and read this somewhere. If any of the listeners out there know more of Shadowfax's backstory, let us know. But it almost makes me think that like he's a special horse of Orome. The Valar.
Oh yeah, the rider.
The rider.
Yeah.
You know how like the Huan in Beren and Luthien, the dog, was like a hound of Valinor, right? He was like a special beast of Valinor.
Wait, who was?
Huan, the dog in Beren and Luthien.
Oh, right, yes.
It almost makes you think that Shadowfax is like a horse of Valinor, you know?
Oh, yeah. That's what I was wondering. Oh, it says here that he originally according to fandom, lotr.wikia.com, it says that Shadowfax was capable of comprehending human speech and was said to run faster than the wind, originally belonging to the house of Eorl. Huh?
Eorl. Yeah.
Eorl, Lord of Rohan. Shadowfax was too wild to be tamed by the Rohirrim. Eventually he was given to Gandalf the White by Theoden.
Interesting.
Or Theoden, yeah.
Interesting. Well, I don't know. Maybe maybe the reason he is
Isn't he pretty? Actually, I thought he'd be prettier than that. It's like
well,
just
he's wild.
That's like some. Oh, that's true. I guess he is, but he doesn't look very silvery gray in that picture.
Well, that just answers the age-old question.
What age-old question?
Who's going to ride your wild horses?
Who's gonna ride your? I love that song. Do you have it queued?
Gandalf.
Can we listen to it? It is Gandalf. No, it's okay. Don't bother. It is. It's
you make me play that song. I'll play that song.
Gandalf. It's a great song.
I love that song.
I love that
It's
song
one of my favorite
too.
songs.
It's an amazing song. I don't think it's very well known.
It's
U2, right?
It's one of U2's lesser known. Like it's
is
not.
It a B-side?
No. But it's just not one they play a lot because they can't figure out a good way. They feel like they can't figure out a good way to play it.
Really? You mean like as in
live.
performing it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not like a good concert song.
That's the way they feel, but I think it would be awesome to hear live.
I would think so too.
I think the way they had it on. There's a couple of different versions of it, but the main one they have on Octung Baby, which is the record it was on, I can see how that would be hard to play it that way live.
Yeah.
But if they did a different version of it, I could see it being
be great.
much better. But anyway.
But yeah,
so Gandalf
is the answer to
Gandalf
that.
is going to ride your
you
wild
need
horses.
to email Bono.
Yeah.
And tell him that you have found the answer to his age-old question.
Yeah, I'm sure Bono will respond to
I'm sure he would.
my email.
Bono seems like a cool guy.
I'm not saying he's not a cool guy, but
I mean, no, I think he might. I think he might respond.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Probably.
JK.
Probably.
Maybe his agent.
Not.
Or like his agent's minion would respond.
Or like, you know, his Bono bot would respond.
Maybe. That's probably more likely, actually.
Yeah.
Probably not a human. Oh well.
All right.
Well, yeah. So Shadowfax was from Rohan
There you go.
originally.
I still think maybe he came from Boromir originally.
That would be cool if he did.
That's just me. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, he can comprehend human speech, so
I know.
it seems like he's like
Something going on with that horse.
he's not a Middle Earth
Right.
native. He can't be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody knows any more about him, let us know.
Yeah.
Because I would be
You
interested.
know, Greta, you're dangerous because you're honest. You're dangerous because you don't know what you want.
Because you're honest. Dangerous.
All right.
You don't know what you want.
Yeah. And then, so they set out. They're off to see the wizard, the wonderful,
Wonderful
the
Wizard
wonderful
of
Theoden
Rohan.
of Rohan.
The
Yeah,
wonderful Theoden of Rohan.
that's right. Off to see Theoden, and they're hoping for the best when it comes to Merry and Pippin. Best part of this chapter for you, Greta?
Best part of this chapter. The whole chapter, or just the part we talked about tonight?
Just the part we talked about tonight.
Oh, the best part of what we talked about tonight.
Yeah.
I like Gandalf's tale of the Balrog battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's what I liked.
That's what I like too. You stole my idea.
I did. I saw it written there and I couldn't resist. I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah. All right, haiku time.
I did like Gimli's reaction to Galadriel's.
Hey, that's not the haiku song. That's Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses.
That is Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses. We're gonna rock out for a minute here, guys. Bear with us. Here we go. Is this our new haiku theme song?
You can kind of get the feel, I think, for how this would be a hard song to perform live because it's kind of ethereal. It's a little bit ethereal. What?
Whoa.
I didn't know that was part of the song.
That was disappointing.
Yeah, a little bit.
We just took a step down there. That's okay. You going first?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 syllables in haiku. That was like Whoville or something.
That was my Minnie Mouse voice.
And you just need to sing a normal voice.
You did something different, so I wanted to do something different.
Fine. All right, haiku time. Here we are once again. Let me see here. All right, do you want to go first or me? You're still writing yours, aren't you?
No, I'm done.
What are you doing?
I was seeing how many times they've performed it live.
How many times?
I don't know. I can't count them all.
Oh, a lot more than 10, huh?
Yeah, a lot more
Let
than
me see.
10.
Let me see. Well, they haven't performed it since 2001.
Okay.
Oh, they snippeted it at a bunch of shows. It sounds like.
Oh, they did like a,
but yeah, I guess
a medley.
I guess they did it a lot more than I thought. That's weird.
Maybe we should just go to a U2 concert just to see if they play it.
I've been to one, but unfortunately
I
their
know.
tickets are
Little pricey.
expensive and everybody buys them in the first 3 minutes.
I know. I've never been.
You gotta be a rich
one.
person to get tickets to a U2 concert, unfortunately.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Of course,
Okay.
if any of our listeners out there want to give us U2 tickets, I mean, we wouldn't say no to that. I'm just saying.
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah.
Not at all.
All right, haiku time. You or me?
I think I went first last time, so you go ahead.
All right. Having lost all, the three discover new purpose. Divert the Dark Lord.
Ooh, that's good. That's real good.
Thanks. I was alright with it. I wasn't crazy about it, but you know.
I like it. I like having lost all.
Yeah.
And then the divert the Dark Lord. I think that's good. All right, here's mine. Talk of what has passed directs future paths to war. Hope remains. White leads.
Nice.
Yep. I know. I was actually kind of proud of that one.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, give yourself a pat on the back.
I'm going to do that right now.
Look, after the podcast is over, go look in the mirror and see. Gosh darn, Greta, that was a good haiku.
Gosh darn.
Gosh
Or
darn.
should I just say darn gosh snart?
Darn Garshnart. Darn Garshnart, Greta. That was a good haiku.
I'll do it in Kit voice too.
That's right, kid
Yeah.
voice, yeah.
All right, we got more.
All right. Yes, we do.
Awesome.
So let's see. We got Matt Scarance. Matt Scarance gave us 2 poems. Actually, he gave us a haiku and he gave us a longer, a 8-line poem. So I'll read the haiku and then I'll read his 8-line poem.
Okay.
Forth our heroes ride to Edoras Golden Hall, to warn of vile tide.
Ooh, it rhymes.
Nice. Sorry, I started to burp there at the end.
That's
So
gross.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, I think you did it on purpose.
I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
First, I forgot how to say his name, and then I burped as I was reading his haiku.
Maybe
Sorry.
I should just read his haiku.
Go ahead, read his haiku. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead. Greta will do a better job.
Forth our heroes ride to Edoras' golden hall, to warn of the vile. Oops.
Come
warn of vile tide. Sorry, dang it. Okay, one more time. Forth our heroes ride
You know,
to Edoras' golden hall.
Now you don't get to go up
to
and look
warn
yourself
of
in the mirror
vile
and
tide.
tell yourself good job in kid voice.
It rhymes. I got
Okay.
super excited. That's why I messed up. I'm sorry,
This is
Matt.
We know this is true because it rhymes.
Because it rhymes. Yes.
All right, try it again.
Okay.
This time for real.
For real?
Mhm.
Okay. Matt's haiku. Forth our heroes ride to Edoras' golden hall, to warn of vile tide. Good, good, good. I like it, I like it, I like it.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, here's Matt's longer poem. All that seems ill is not bitter. Not all who have left us are lost. Deep lay the strong that does not wither. High is the stair of snow and of frost. From bare stone secret fire has awakened. White light from the mountains has come. Still hard is the road to be reckoned. Unfought are the battles to be won.
Ooh,
That was awesome, mate. Nice job.
Really good.
I love how he plays on the, not all that glitters is golden. Not all who wander are lost poem from
All that seems
book 1.
ill is not bitter.
Right.
Not
I
all
love
who have left us are lost.
really nice. Good job. In fact,
That's
I might even
really, really good.
I'm trying to remember to post that on the site when I post the episode. That's good.
That is really good.
Good job, Matt.
That is
Nicely
really
done.
good.
Nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Rob, the man, the myth, the legend, Fang Man. Here we go. You want to read this one?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right.
From Rob. Out of the abyss, secret power on his hand, a white light unveiled. Ooh,
Nice.
that's real good. Real good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I feel like the haikus so far have been better than mine.
they've been better than mine, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Way to out haiku us.
Yeah. You guys are winning.
Totally.
All right, and then last but not least is Aaron, the reason, teasing.
I thought he was Dr. Thiessen.
No, you're thinking of Dr. Hutton. Dr. Hutton, I presume.
Oh, that's right, Dr. Hutton.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from him in a while.
It's been a couple episodes, so
I hope he's not offended by the fact that we started
Will.
calling him doctor.
no, I think he liked a couple of posts on Facebook, recent posts on Facebook.
Oh, okay, good.
You know, not everybody's world revolves around the Tolkien Road, Greta.
Well, maybe it should.
I agree,
Maybe it should.
but okay, yes, it should. All right, so you heard it there.
Yep.
Dr. Hutton, you need to get us a haiku for the next
We
episode.
expect one for our next episode.
But Aaron,
The reason.
the reason teasing.
Teasen.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not Thiessen.
It's Teason. We asked him to pronounce his name for us, and he said it was
That's
Teason.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. Silent H.
That's right. Aaron, the reason. Teason.
Teasen. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Galadriel sends messages. Dark are her words. Gimli wants one too.
Aww.
Nice. I like the emphasis on Gimli there.
Mm-hmm. See, he thinks her words were dark. That's exactly the word I use. Dark undertones.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're dark. I give you that. But
Mhm.
dark, to me, they're dark in a mysterious kind of way. Like, what do they mean?
They're not necessarily talking about death, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
I mean, they're not kind of things you'd put in a greeting card. Happy birthday!
Unless it was to somebody you hated.
That's right. Happy birthday, you jerk.
Here are my words for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. That's all the haiku. Wait.
Yeah,
where
what
did
are
this come
those?
from? Oh, no. Aaron had 3. That's right. Aaron sent 3 along.
Oh, the trifecta.
The reason. That's why we call him the reason.
That's right.
That's why we call him the
I can't
reason.
believe you almost let us end without reading the other 2. Shame on you.
I will punch myself in the face. I'm sorry.
I'll do it for you.
All right.
There we go.
Oh.
It's done.
That hurt. Okay. Why don't you read this one?
Okay. Imagining war, he lets loose war. Wise fool. His blindness, his ruin. Good stuff.
Nice.
I love that wise fool.
Mhm.
I love oxymorons.
The sophomore.
They're like my favorite thing ever.
Mm-hmm. I like telling kids who are sophomores that they're wise fools.
Mm-hmm. Because it's a true story.
They're like, shut up, old man. Like, I haven't heard that before.
Like, you're only like the 10,000th person that said that to me today.
Oh, really? Does sophomore mean wise fool? How interesting. Oh, we'll have to keep that noted.
I'm sure not all kids today know that.
No, just being silly.
Yeah. All right, one more from Aaron, the reason.
Yep. All right. Me. I'll read
Yeah,
it.
you.
The Dark Lord, 9 has he, but 1 have we. Come through fire, now white is he. Nice. That one rhymes too.
Dang it.
This is true because it rhymes.
They've just really killed it this week.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. Really good.
Excellent. Outstanding work, everybody. I'm just proud to be the host of this podcast.
I am too.
After
I'm
those
proud to be
haiku.
the co-host.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Those are awesome.
Good job, guys.
Well done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Party on. All right. I think that's everything we got. So next haiku are due for Chapter 6, Part 1. Next episode, that's what we'll be doing. First half of Chapter 6. What is it? The King of the Golden Hall. Those haiku are due on the 7th, so next Wednesday.
All right.
December 7th. A day that shall live in infamy.
So did you hear that, Dr. Hutton? You need to have your haiku in by December 7th.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A day that shall live in infamy.
Infamy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm getting scared.
It's Pearl Harbor Day.
It is Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah.
I knew it sounded familiar for a reason.
Yeah, that's what.
What's the anniversary this year? See, it was December 7th, 1930.
This
No,
is the
1942.
75th? It's the 75th.
No. Was it 41? Or it was the end of 41,
41.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is the 75th.
Wow,
That's
75th.
a big
Yeah,
one.
big deal.
That's
Wow.
a big one. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Crazy sauce. Just the day before the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, too.
There you go.
Man, a couple big days coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Thanks for
you.
listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah. Party on, and we'll talk to you. We'll talk at you next time.
On, and yeah, we'll be here, so you should be too.
All right.
All right.
Later, peeps.
Bye, y'all.
Please remember to check out truemyths.org for show notes and plenty of other Tolkien goodness. Also, if you're enjoying the podcast, would you please leave the Tolkien Road a rating and feedback on iTunes? It's a great way to support the show and takes less than a minute. On our next episode, we'll continue our discussion of Book 3 with the first half of Chapter 6, The King of the Golden Hall. Thanks for listening, and until next time, the road goes ever on.